Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Broads. I'm kind of glad I'm getting an opportunity to record this show after Game 4 instead of just reacting instantly to the Bryce Harper news and the injury, because what I was going to sell you on what this team needed to do and what I thought this team could do to help themselves out during this time without the NL MVP is what they put on display to take 3 out of 4 against San Diego. That Sunday afternoon game, you had big-time players taking big-time roles and exploding. Kyle Schwarber, opposite field bomb to take the lead. Garrett Stubbs in there. Alec Boehm had a double. Okay, you had, come on now. Where did I want to go to here? Oh, JT Realmuto. The game where it actually transpired, where Blake Snell hit Bryce Harper in the thumb. Instantly, with the blink of an eye, he responded and had some fire in him to get the Phillies on the board and show some life. It is too deep of a roster for them to just lay down and die. And if you feel that the season is over just because there's no Bryce Harper, well then get out my way, because I don't feel the same exact way. I'm watching the New York Mets compete game in and game out without Jacob deGrom and without Max Scherzer. You can make the argument that that's a bigger loss than Bryce Harper. I watched the Braves win the World Series without Ronald Acuna Jr. I'm watching the Padres compete in the NL West without Fernando Tatis Jr. No one's going to feel sorry for you. What you need to do is maximize your roster. Hey, Nick Castellanos, wake up. Well, he's no longer playing right field. He slides into the DH role, and now he has himself a four-hit night, a 4-hit afternoon. And trust me, I prefer Castellanos in right field, even though he's a disaster. If you're telling me my options are Castellanos in right field, but you have Bryce Harper hitting third in the DH spot, or you get more flexibility and versatility, and, you can move some guys through your lineup because your DH is available. I'm taking Bryce Harper every single day of the week, but there has to be a correlation between how much pressure he felt in right field compared to being relaxed and just having himself some breathing room to just worry about what needs to be accomplished when he's in the batter's box, and that's why you saw him have 4 hits. A little aggressive on the base paths. I didn't like his attempt to go from first to second there late in the game, even though the tag was missed, and I thought he did squeeze in there and was safe. There was not enough evidence to overturn it on the replay booth, and it doesn't really matter because it didn't impact the game. And I thought earlier he tried to take second, and it was close. It was bang, bang. And I'm not against being aggressive. I love being aggressive. I think this team should be taking shots out there, but I thought he just did a little too much in that area, but steps in the right direction when it's all said and done, and that's what we desperately need. So JT Realmuto seems to be finding the long ball as of late. Hello, thank you very much. Your bullpen seems to find themselves roles, right? Bellotti in the 9th. What the hell was that? I was shocked to see him out there with no Sir Anthony and no Brad Hand, but it seems that they were too hot, as Rob Thompson mentioned, so they were not even available today. Bellotti slides in there for the night. Not that that's a role he's going to see in the future. Realistically, that was a bad example to use, but Knebel, no longer a late guy, but finds himself in the 7th, doing fantastic. Jose Alvarado's back in action, and he's into a groove. Sometimes I still sweat it out, and sometimes I'm still a little bit nauseous watching him, but it hits his ass, and he makes a play over at first base, which was fantastic. Nick Nelson, you had your teammates back when Kyle Gibson didn't show up, and I'm a little disappointed in the veteran. The last time I demanded excellence out of him, he went 8 innings for me and was sensational. And I called him out again saying, yo, Kyle, this is the time. The team lost their number one dude in Bryce Harper. He's unavailable for you. Show up and ball out and put this team in a position to take 3 or 4. And their road trip in general, once they completed this final game, they took 7 of 11. It would have been nice to squeeze one out against Texas instead of getting swept the way that they did. So it could have been 8 of 11, but 7 of 11, and you move on to Atlanta. The game's in Philadelphia, but you're playing the Atlanta Braves in a 3-game series. This is going to be telling for me because your biggest rival, second biggest rival, whatever you want to frame it. Some people hate the Braves more than the Mets. A lot of us hate the Mets more than the Braves, but it's obviously we despise that logo tremendously. So the fact that you're going to see them, you're at home, show up and show us something here. There's a big difference between sustained success, which I feel is capable with this group, and then, of course, just an adrenaline rush competing and looking a certain way because you are so close and emotionally touched with what just transpired with Bryce Harper. There's no sugarcoating this. This is a very big loss when you look at what Bryce Harper brings to the table. I'm not breaking any news here, but Jason Stark put out a whole list of things that he succeeded in over the last 162 games of action. 42 home runs, which is 8th in baseball, 55 doubles, which was first, 99 extra base hits, which is first in OPS, first in slugging percentage, second in OBP, 5th in batting average, and according to Fangraphs, first in WAR. And once again, this is over the last 162 games. That's what Bryce Harper is doing compared to the competition. So there really is no way of finding a way to fill that hole. There's a monster hole in this lineup, but there's a reason why you spent all the cash that you did on Kyle Schwarber. The personality of him and the fact that he knows how to get to October, that's what that opposite field home run does. To take the lead at 6-5, it was a moonshot, and he knew instantly. That's why you pay him the big bucks on top of being vocal and saying, follow my lead. It's not over yet, all right? Don't put your head down. We have to go out there and play. There's too much damn baseball left, and all these other teams are missing their top players as well. The only squad, I think it was Bob Nightingale or it was one of the national media guys that talked about all of the big-time players that were put on injured list and the teams are missing their presence. The Dodgers missing Mookie Betts. That's not to downplay how great of a player Mookie Betts is because the guy's sensational. Just in regards to what is on their roster and what type of players they have, their entire lineup could basically be the NL All-Star team. So I don't want to hear it that the Dodgers are missing themselves Mookie Betts as if that correlates to any sort of winning and look at their team, okay? Look at their team. That's not the same as what's going on here in Philadelphia if they were to miss some time with Bryce Harper. But when you look at Castellanos finally getting into something here, and singles, I get it. It's not the power yet, but I'll take it. Steps in the right direction for sure. Alec Boehm is now putting together doubles. In what universe does he go from singles McGee to doubles McGee? If all of these players that I'm referencing take a step and do just a little extra, all of that as a collective group can make up for some of the hole that is missing out of Bryce. You're not going to fill the whole thing. That's nearly impossible. But when you look at JT, when you look at Castellanos, it begins with those two. And while they were struggling and playing bad baseball, they were not bad baseball players. There's a big difference between being a horrific baseball player and playing horrific baseball. And that's what the difference is when I analyze those two. And I don't know if it's the fact that Castellanos wasn't in the field, and I don't know if it's the fact that JT Realmuto is playing better defense. I saw the pop time, the unbelievable throw down the second base in this series, which saved a run, by the way, because he ends up, bang, makes a huge play at second base, phenomenal throw. And then right after that, there, in a blink of an eye, there was a double that occurred. And if he did not gun out at second base, that would have been a run scored for the Padres. So the fact that he was doing that, he's picking guys off over at first base as well. You know, JT shining in that department maybe snowballs into him having the success that we're seeing with the home runs and his ability to drive the baseball, going oppo, taco, hitting opposite field home run. Like, that's extremely important to the turnaround. There's too much talent on this team for the team to not compete and to just fold. But this will tell us a lot. We need this information, right? Stott gets himself an RBI. Stubbs is in there doing his thing. You're going to need more of a collective. You need more players each night, where some nights, all right, if Vierling or Odubel or Didi don't do their thing, but Bryce Harper's in the lineup, and Bryce Harper's giving you 3 hits or 2 hits, a couple RBI, you might get away with the bottom of your lineup not succeeding and looking as good during that respected night. And maybe you can get away with that at times too if Schwarber's hitting a 3-run opposite field homer, or if Nick Castellanos is getting 4 hits on the day. It is possible, but for the longevity of it all, now you're going to need more guys to do their thing. But I believe it's capable. It's not as if I don't believe in the crew. There are plenty of times where it's unrealistic to believe, and you're just doing it because you're a fan or you're biased because you want them to be a better baseball team than they really are. But deep down in my gut, I don't think that's the case, where we're just convincing ourselves that they're actually a decent squad. No, I think that they're a decent squad. They just haven't put it all together with certain players, and some of those certain players now need a big-time wake-up call. And if this doesn't inspire you enough that you have to pick up the slack for an NL MVP that's clearly disappointed in what happened, and you knew instantly that it was the worst case scenario. When you see him screaming at Blake Snell and cursing and his body shaking the way that it was, and they showed the close-up of him holding his thumb, you know what that says? He blacked out. He completely blanked out. And what he wanted to look like in the moment was him apologizing. The way that he apologized as he was walking towards the dugout, towards Blake Snell, saying, I know you didn't mean to. I'm sorry, I apologize. That type of message that he said, that was the real Bryce Harper. He lost it. He completely lost it. His body took over, his mind took over, because his body shut down. And that's what happens, where your instant raw reaction ends up occurring, because it's like he knew in that moment, you, the person, when something shocking happens to you and your body experiences that shock, it's just going to react a certain type of way. So that's when, it's not shocking news to say this, but you just knew it was the worst case scenario. His thumb was going to be fractured. We'll wait to hear more information on what this means for the timeline, but I'm not putting any optimism in that department. There's so much that plays into this, where not that I'm Bryce Harper, not that me and my experiences ever relate to what is going to happen with a Philadelphia Phillies organization managing an NL MVP, but there's a lot more to it than just, hey, get him back out there. I mean, your thumb holding the bat, and it's a mess. He's been through a lot. He's been hit in the face, and even after the game, he's kind of joking around about it, saying, I'd rather get hit in the face. My face can take it. My face can take 98, but my thumb can't take the 97. And, yeah, that's kind of how it goes, that makes a lot of sense, though, that your thumb is going to have that type of reaction to, getting hit that hard with it. It's disappointing for sure, and it's devastating. And I did a 4-hour radio show this afternoon from noon to 4 on 97.5 The Fanatic, and I appreciate all of you that tune in here on Broads Media and enjoy the radio shows as well. Or if you heard me originally on 97.5 The Fanatic and then made yourself over to Broads Media, because there are a lot of you out there that reach out to me, and I just appreciate all of you and appreciate all of the love. The tone was, I'm gutted, I'm broken down, I'm crushed. I'm not giving up, and I'm still here, and I'm watching every single pitch, and I believe in them, but I can't just forget the fact that I'm going to be missing Bryce Harper. The way that I explain it is, if I'm watching on an afternoon during the weekend and I have my feet up on the couch, I'm hanging out with my puppies and I'm relaxing, enjoying myself a nice 9-inning baseball game, and let's say the fiance goes, hey, hon, it's time to unload the dishwasher. And I go, do I have to right now? I got things to do. I'm working here. And she goes, hey, babe, what did I say? Go do the dishes. I'm like, all right, I'll do this. This isn't a battle I'm trying to lose. I'll pick and choose these other battles. So I go into the kitchen and I start unloading the dishwasher. But on my TV in my family room, I hear, and Bryce Harper is walking up to the plate. What do? I stop everything that I'm doing because there is a special individual that is walking up to the plate who does special things on the diamond that I don't want to miss. I am not going to miss a second of what this guy can do. I'm not missing a big homer. I'm not missing a double in the gap. I'm not missing a single that he stretches into a double where he's sliding head first, looking at the dugout afterwards, and he's doing his fist pumps and his raise the roof type of reaction to get everybody all fired up. There's no shot in hell. There's no dishes that needs to be cleaned that I'm missing that puppy, right? Not many people have that type of stop what you're doing. So the sport of baseball lost something special in general, and you saw that throughout the entire baseball world when social media blew up because of it. Here's some fun barroom conversation, if you will. I have a fantasy baseball group chat that goes off nonstop, and one of the things that was mentioned here, and I'm indifferent. I don't care what they did, to be honest with you, and I'm totally fine and accept how the Phillies handled it right after the situation played out. But there were a few in the group chat that wanted somebody beamed. They wanted a 92, 93 mile per hour fastball in the thigh, in the shin. Now, Kyle Gibson sucked today, and he hit a few guys, but that wasn't due to, I'm getting back at you. That was due to, he stunk. That was bad. I'm very disappointed in Kyle Gibson. But the old school people are, you absolutely retaliate. You punk them. Make a statement. What does that say for the entire clubhouse? We got your back. We're brothers. You stand up for one another. So when the Padres want to get in your face afterwards and they want to start a ruckus, if you will, who was it? I guess it was Jesse Winker, right? Flipping off the fans today. You had the Angels. You had the Mariners. There was some action going on there with some benches and some brawls and whatnot. Maybe it wouldn't have got to that level of intensity, but the game has changed now. The respect from Blake Snell and Bryce Harper and the obvious known he didn't mean to do it. And plus with fines and suspensions, there's a lot on the table now. I care about winning, and that's sort of how things have shifted here in this era of baseball, or in this era of sports. Instead of retaliating, you know what you do? You go kick their ass and beat them. You go take 3 of 4. You win the damn baseball game, and that's what they did, and they scored some runs after that. So instead of focusing on plunking somebody, JT Realmuto hits a home run, and I'll take the home run. If you tell me there's no home run and there's a plunk, I'll take the home run. So I'm fine with it. Would I be mad if someone got hit? No. I don't want the intent to injure, though. I'll put it to you this way. If it was a 95 mile per hour, instead of a 95 mile per hour fastball, if it was 89, it can't be a changeup or it can't be a off-speed pitch, but you take a little off the fastball. Say you go 90, you go upper thigh near the bum. I would say throw behind them and not even close to touching the individual just for the statement purposes. But that might be so disrespectful, it gets a certain type of mood and a certain type of character shown by the Padres in that moment to want to fight. Those are basically fighting words if you can describe it in that way. But I'm okay with what they did. I got no issue. Focus on the game. Raise that meter and raise the bar, that focus level. And I also wonder, too, with the fans here in Philadelphia, do the players take note of how hungry we are to get into the postseason? Some players have been here for a while now. Aaron Nola, who pitched another gem in this series. It's unfortunate when they lose the game, it's on an 0-2 count. They didn't lose the game. It's not as if this was a walk-off situation. I didn't want that to be portrayed that way. But when they lost 1-0 after the dude strikes out double digits and was throwing 96, I'm seeing Aaron Nola throw 96. I'm saying, what world is this? Am I dreaming? Just like when I woke up this morning, I went, what world is this? Am I dreaming? Please tell me that Bryce Harper thing was just a nightmare. Unfortunately, it wasn't. wasn't. But Aaron Nola, sensational. He gives himself another gem, another just great day at the office. It's just unfortunate his brother on an 0-2 count with the high pitch up and away gets smacked into right field for that one run by the Padres for them to win the game that they did. Aaron Nola was great. He was fantastic. It's a shame that that's where it all kind of went down for that. I'm trying to remember where I was relating that to, though. Totally just had a brain fart and a brain hiccup, which tends to happen. I don't know. I'll just tell you that Aaron Nola was great, and I loved it. Nelson was great, 3 1/3. Bellotti. Jose, am I starting to believe in Jose Alvarado again? Am I? I'm nervous to say yes. I'm nervous to go full commitment mode. But he looks sharp. Sharper. He looks like the Jose Alvarado that, okay, in every 5 Jose Alvarado starts, and this isn't actually statistics. This is me just telling you what it feels like as a fan watching him play or watching him pitch. For every 4 outings, I don't want Jose Alvarado ever starting a baseball game in my life. For all of his every 4 outings, let's say 3 are good and 1 gets iffy, 1 gets dicey, 1 gets blah. When Jose Alvarado is the best form of Jose Alvarado, 3 times he does his job, 1 time it's vomit. That's just what it feels like from a general sense right now speaking. It seems we're at least back into that. So it doesn't mean it's always going to be magnificent. You'll get that 1 hiccup. You'll get those couple base runners or that man on third base, and you got to work around it a little bit and things of that nature. But it looks like the best Jose Alvarado we're going to get, and I will take that for what it is, considering what the alternatives is, which is he stinks, he's in AAA. I felt better about him turning it around than Familia ever would. But that's what I was trying to tell everybody before. There were people screaming that Dave Dombrowski needs to get fired because he paid some of these pitchers, and he actually thought that they would be good. Corey Knebel stinks is all I heard. And I said, well, you probably said that about Hector Neris too. And then when he went to the 8th inning, you loved Hector Neris. Corey Knebel was better than what he was giving us. He just had to find it. Castellanos is better than what he's been giving us. He just has to find it. JT Realmuto is better than what he was giving us. He just needs to find it. And now, more than ever, I'm not going to say it's desperation mode, but it's go time. Your leash is no longer as long as it was because you lost yourself, as I alluded to earlier. The guy over the last 162 is 8th in home runs, 1st in extra base hits, 1st in doubles, 1st in OPS, 1st in slugging, 2nd in OBP, 5th in batting average. So look in the mirror, come to work, and establish your new identity without him. What is Dave Dombrowski going to do? I had an interview with Bob Wankel of Crossing Broad today, and I asked him, where does Dave Dombrowski go? And instantly, you think to yourself, how can we fill this hole that was lost? And while everything's on the table, and you should be looking down every single avenue, don't be so short-minded or one-sided or looking in one view. If you can bolster up your bullpen heavy, and this is your offense, well then, maybe you can live like that. It's not we need to fulfill that roster spot to go get Bryce Harper's bat, something to make up for what you're losing in Bryce Harper's bat. Maybe you just bolster up this bullpen even more and make it meatier. Or you go to your starting pitching, make that meatier, push Ranger Suarez back to the bullpen. You find other ways to bolster up your team where instead of desperately needing to score X amount of runs every single game, you don't need to score as many because there's more belief in some of your pitching spots, whether that is the middle of your bullpen or the back end of your bullpen or the middle of your starting rotation. I don't love where they are right now in the Zach Eflin department with this knee. And, a few games ago, they said that they're going to try and get 3 innings out of him, which I'm like, you're kind of setting the dude up for failure. He goes 2. They had to pull him. Then he goes a couple innings and he does okay, but there's still some discomfort there. And, well, here we go again. We're going through the Zach Eflin isn't able to stay healthy drama. And there's such a limit on what he's capable of doing innings-wise. It's bizarre. It's like, okay, that's cute, but what am I going to do with this? Well, yeah, one layer to it is, okay, I can appreciate fighting through this. He wants to compete. He wants to be out there, and he's getting a chance to. I'll take it. I like that attitude from him. I'll take that attitude approach. But at the same time, if now we're talking, well, he's got to get checked, and now he's getting looked at, and we had to yank him because we thought he could go 3 innings. Well, we thought he could go 3 innings. Why don't we figure out the issue, fix the issue, and then when it's time to go again, he can just be a starting pitcher again instead of flirting around the problem or pretending the problem isn't as serious as it is. It's clearly hindering him, and it's clearly limiting what he's capable of doing. Let's figure it out. And if that means the alternative is a Bailey Falter, then so be it. Because 2 innings of Zach Eflin clearly isn't. And I know his last start wasn't as egregious, but I just feel like you're setting him up for failure more than you are success. Not that I believe in many other options here. And I had one caller during my show today scream that Dave Dombrowski better make a franchise-changing move right now, like trade Castellanos and Rhys Hoskins for another player. What are we doing here? Don't be losing your mind. Even though you clearly are by just calling in and making that type of statement. I'll tell you why he hasn't made an addition yet. How come he hasn't gone anywhere? Like, I seriously get this type of reaction to me. You do realize that it takes 2 to tango. You do realize that there's a reason why teams wait for the deadline. Because they're trying to figure out who they are. These teams that you want to trade with are still trying to figure, are they buyers or are they sellers at the deadline? What are they? Where are they in their respected division? How are they looking for a wild card spot? And lastly here, before we go to the phones, another team that I got referenced with when talking about the Mets, the Braves, the Padres, were the Angels. And I'll say Mike Gill of 97.3 ESPN down in Atlantic City, we used to work together, brought this up. And he goes, the Angels have Mike Trout and they have Shohei Ohtani. 2 players that are sensational, right? Agreed. They don't do anything. They don't do squat. Individually, they do. The Angels don't. As a team, they get mocked like the Phillies fans. Oh, I know. Oh, that brought me right back to where I was going with Nola. And now I'm going to write that down so I don't forget again. I knew I had that brain fart, and I figured it would come back to me. How about that? I talked myself into circles to get back on track. But with the, did I lose where I was going? No. The Angels are the Phillies of the West, right? That's what they all say. Well, if they have Mike Trout, who's the best to ever do it, and Shohei, who is a very special talent, will one player in Bryce Harper, should that one player be the difference if you're watching the Angels, who have the best to ever do it in Mike Trout, where that's limiting them, and Shohei Ohtani, if they can't do it with those 2 players, the impact of one player, is it as significant as we say it is if you use the Angels as the example? Now, I don't believe this. I'm just saying this was laid out. And I understand the logic to what is being said, and I understand what is being mentioned. I don't believe it because, yeah, losing Bryce Harper mattered. The loss of this guy batting 3rd in your lineup every single day, even if it's not just the home run hitting, but it's making a pitcher throw 14 pitches, even if he strikes out looking and he goes down swinging, but the pitcher threw 14 pitches instead of 4, instead of 5, and that happens for 2 straight at-bats. We watched this happen the other day with Zach Wheeler on the mound, where it was a strikeout throwout, but they called it a walk on a full count instead, where there was a check swing involved. Should have been inning over. Zach Wheeler throws 20 more pitches. Let's say that's Bryce Harper up to bat who forces a 10-pitch AB, a 9-pitch AB. And now that makes the pitch count rise. And now the starter has to see him a couple of times. There's so many details within the game, more than just extra base hits and singles and walks, that have so much impact on it all that you're missing out on. So I get what is being said, but there's flaws within. It's not really an argument. It's just something being mentioned that I get it, but it's not fully fair at the same time. Because at that point, you're basically devaluing a Mike Trout, or you're devaluing a Shohei Ohtani. What's true is it takes a lot to succeed in this league. You need a collective group of players, everyday players, role players. Apparently, Matt Vierling, you think of lefty, righty, Mickey Moniak getting the call up and whatnot. Matt Vierling maybe getting some opportunities to bat against some righties, which maybe wasn't the full-on thought process at one point, even though maybe they're going to give Mickey that shot, of course, but just saying if things do go out of control for him, again, maybe that does end up changing. But, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. But with the Phillies fans, and going back to what I was saying with Aaron Nola, he's been here for a while, so he might understand. But we need the playoffs. We need the playoffs. This fan base needs the playoffs. Does Kyle Schwarber, Castellanos, JT, Didi, do these players feel that? Do they have that soaking in that it's go mode? Go. Don't hang your head. Keep attacking. We're getting in the playoffs. Do they feel how hungry we are to finally see postseason baseball after losing Bryce Harper? I really hope they do. And those acquisitions like Schwarber and all, that's what I'm relying on to keep everything managed. And game one without Bryce, he absolutely did that. Before we take a phone call or so, let me tell you about Zach Green. Look, injuries happen, and when they do, you need someone who is going to fight for the justice you deserve, and that's my friend Zach Green at the Javerbaum Law Firm. Zach Green is an experienced personal injury attorney who will personally handle your case if you or a loved one have been injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or if you have been the victim of medical malpractice. Consultations are always free, and he can be reached at 609-790-3895. Zach grew up in the Philadelphia area and has a deep understanding of the personality of its sports fan. He is a 4-for-4 guy who will stand up for your rights and fight for you. When you are hurt, you will need a lawyer that is not afraid to go toe-to-toe with the insurance companies to get you the compensation that you deserve. If you've been hurt, call Zach at 609-790-3895 or email him at zgreen@lawjw.com. You can visit his website, which is down below in the description. 856-442-9805. I went really long there in regards to my opening monologue, if you want to call it. So I don't know how many phone calls I'll be sticking around and getting to today. The Stanley Cup Finals is getting started here, and I got the iPad set up where I can kind of see it here off to the side, but it is what it is. Anyway, Amadeo, how are you, man?
Doing good after, the circumstance of Bryce Harper, but hey, winning a 3 out of 4 game series against the San Diego Padres may make it feel a little better, but the sting's still there.
Yeah, of course, the sting's still there because it just sucks. We're not going to see one of the greatest players in the sport play. And there's two ways to look at it, right? We sulk in it and we let it eat us alive and we sit here in pain, which it's fair to have the feelings that we do, but it's baseball. You had a game today, and it's hard. It's not easy. It's difficult, but you have a game today, and it's either you sit in the stank or you flip it to double bird, which plenty of people have flipped me the double bird in my life, and we move forward here, and that's what they did in game one without Bryce Harper, and they got a huge series against the Braves after an off day on Monday to kick it right back into gear.
Exactly, and that's the way you got to do it. Everyone in this lineup right now, they got to do their job bit by bit. You saw Schwarber go deep. You saw Castellanos. Hopefully that means his bat maybe waking up with the 4 hits today. You saw JT hit a couple of bombs, and honestly, all the credit in the world to the bullpen. The bullpen was fantastic this series, not allowing one single run at all.
Absolutely. It's crazy, too, on who's doing it. Nick Nelson in relief for three in the third inning. Jose Alvarado after his AAA stint. And nobody really believed in Jose Alvarado. And like I just alluded to, sometimes there's reasons on why you would feel a certain type of way. And he has been all over the map. But credit to him where he's stepped up now and his number's been called and he's been great. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. A piece that used to destroy this team. But that's why I always go back to whenever there's like a week where the bullpen suck. Yeah, guess what? There's going to be a week where the bullpen's good and the bullpen's solid. It's just the journey of the season. So while there's struggles within certain players and struggles within certain parts of this team, sometimes it's the defense, but then there's a week where we're pointing out how great Didi was and a sliding catch by Matt Vierling and an awesome play by Odubel Herrera. Like, for as many bad spots as there are, then those same players and those same categories of your roster end up being the reason why you win. So it all evens out on what it's supposed to be when it's all said and done after the 162.
Yeah, then now you're looking forward to this very important series against the Atlanta Braves. And technically, you do have the, I guess, favorable in the pitching matchup department. You got both Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola on the bump in this series.
You better win it, though.
Huge chance to win two. Yeah, you got to win those games.
You got to win those games. They've definitely had their troubles with giving Aaron Nola run support. But having those two on the mound is incredibly important. Having the off day on Monday is incredibly important, too. So going to Tuesday, you got yourself Charlie Morton and Zach Wheeler. On Wednesday, Kyle Wright versus Ranger Suarez. And on Thursday, which is a 6 o'clock start, Ian Anderson versus Aaron Nola. How's Ian Anderson doing this year? A 4.60 ERA with a 1.45 whip. Aaron Nola has a 0.90 whip. He's got a sub-3 ERA, which is incredibly insane considering this year with the DH spot being the way that the DH spot is. A sub-3 in 2022 in the National League, and how you would compare that to what a sub-3 is when there's a pitcher in your batting order every single day. You basically got an easy out every single time through the lineup in years past, where we all thought, can you get a 3.5 with the DH compared to a 3.5 without a DH? That's two totally different 3.5s. We're getting sub-3. It's just amazing. I love it. He did have a couple walked batters his last outing, but all around, I mean, the strikeouts, it's crazy. His pitch, his location is what's starting this whole thing. Without command, you're basically a garbage pitcher. He's no longer nibbling around. He's got his fastball command, and the velocity's been up to, I can't believe it, 96. I'm sitting here watching 96. I'm going, what? He's showing 94 late in the game. I'm going, what? I love it. I absolutely love it. So a lot of conflicting emotions right now. If I recorded this, let's say at 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock this morning, it would probably be all doom and gloom. It was a nice day outside, and the way I kept labeling it, it was a gloomy Sunday, even though it wasn't, but it was because of everything. But what they showed us today is what I expect them to do, which is still play great baseball, still win a lot of baseball games. You just have to step up. Alec Boehm, more doubles instead of singles. Castellanos, we're taking strides. I want more power, but I'll live with the singles for right now. And no DH, or no right field, so you slide into the DH spot, and maybe that gets you more comfortable inside your brain, so when you're at the plate, you just feel better about it without the pressure of having to make plays in right field. Can I get more power out of Didi, though? I'm okay with him using more of the field, but I still need power. It's like the power's just gone. It's not even a thing anymore. We need more power, Didi. But that's so. Everyone needs to take that job. If you're giving me 7, give me 8. That 8 is the power. That 8 is Alec Boehm giving me doubles. If everyone takes that one extra step, that one number higher, collectively as a whole entire roster, it helps fill that hole. If you're thinking of digging a hole, I'm thinking of Holes, the movie. Shia LaBeouf. Huh? You're starting to fill the holes back in. At least you're given some sort of substance here, percentage-wise, of filling up the hole when your group takes those strides. All right, well, it looks like Aiden just hung up as I was about to go to Aiden, but that's okay. I'm kind of hitting the wall here because I had a long... Oh, he's calling back in. We'll take Aiden, and then we'll shut things down. Aiden, how are you, man? Aiden. Going once, Aiden. Going twice, Aiden.
Oh, hello?
Hello.
Oh, my bad. I had you on mute.
That's okay. What's up, Aiden?
Nothing much. My thoughts about Bryce Harper being out. This series versus San Diego, he was 1 for 9 with a run scored, and we still won 3 of 4 versus one of the better teams in the NL. So there's no reason that we can't win series without Bryce Harper if other people in this lineup step up.
I agree. And this Padres team's good. They're a damn good team. They're not some walkover. It wasn't the Washington Nationals that you went in and took 4 or 5, which I'm proud that they did that, but it's a damn good baseball team. So and that doesn't devalue Bryce by any means, because clearly his presence is significant. When he's a hot Bryce Harper, it's whoa. And he's been a hot Bryce Harper more times than not. But you're right. When you look at this team, they should be able to win a lot of baseball games even without him.
100%. And these next 4 series are huge. 3 of the next 4 series are versus wild card teams. So we have to win at least 2 of them.
That's a great point, no doubt. If we're going to stay competitive and involved, oh, thank you, Aiden. If you want to stay involved in this race for the wild card spot, control what you can control. You can't control what the Braves are doing. You can't control what the Mets are doing. You can't control the Braves when you're playing the Braves, but outside of that, you can only control what's ahead of you. But when you see these teams that are flirting around that wild card spot as well, it's time to do some damage. So I'm intrigued by the adversity. I don't want to be in this spot where we're facing the adversity, but I'm intrigued by their response to the adversity. And step 1 was a good step, which was showing a little bit of something here on this Sunday afternoon. Before we head out of here, CBD, it's amazing. Freestone Farm CBD. It's my favorite CBD brand because they farm it themselves with all organic inputs, and they offer the highest quality genetics in their strains and extracts. I've tried a lot of different brands, but Freestone Farm CBD has been amazing for me. I personally like using it after working out with regular post-workout feel, and I also like it before bed as I've been sleeping way better at night. What's even more exciting, our friends at Freestone Farm CBD have just unveiled an all-new strain menu with awesome reasonable prices. Check out their tropical tasting Bayox that clocks in at 24.1% CBD. Okay, you can use promo code BROADS for 20% off at checkout at Freestone Farm CBD. The link is down below. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you want to buy tickets for any event out there, promo code BROADS at SeatGeek's checkout page, if you're a new user, gets you $20 off. So it eliminates those fees. It's a no-brainer. Get yourself to a game today. And then lastly, TikTok and Twitter and Instagram, Broads Media. Hit the follow button there. Thank you guys so much. I'll catch you on the next.